Hey, are you wondering if web design is a good thing to go into, whether that's for a new career direction or maybe just for that profitable side hustle? Would it be profitable? Well, my name's Chris Good, and I've been involved in web design for more years than I can say without blushing, to be honest. But I'm going to answer that and give you 3 reasons why web design is a good thing to move into. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll give you a few pointers on how you can jump into that with some measure of success. All right, so reason number 1 why web design is a fantastic thing to go into is just because there are no financial barriers to entry. Literally, you can finish watching this video, hopefully all the way to the end, and you can start learning straight away without putting a penny into it. You clearly already have YouTube. You're watching this on that platform, and you must therefore have a device. I assume you have something like a laptop, but even if you were to just start watching videos to start understanding web design, how it works, what is web hosting and domain name, and how does a website work, what is WordPress, which is what I'd recommend, then you are able to learn. There's no barrier. A lot of people, when they're doing a sort of a shift or a pivot in their career, when they're looking at something else to do, they might have to think about going into something like university, and obviously there's a lot of debt there. Then there's college, where in that instance you'd have a few £100 or maybe even £1,000 upfront costs, and then you've got to go there and wait for enrollment and time. Even if you were to train up as something like a PT, it's a 12-week course, and it's a few £1,000s at least. Even if it is based online for the most part. By the way, don't do the PT thing; it's shite from experience. But the thing with web design is that it's all online. There are so many learning resources online which are for free, and by that, pretty much I mean YouTube. However, they're not all video-based learning. You are able to actually start learning how to code straight away in a browser. But the point is that it's not all video learning. You can start learning by doing with browser editors. So by that, what I mean is that you go to something like Code Academy, and they've got online free editors for you to use, and you just go through it. I would say video learning, such as on YouTube, is a great way to go, and don't forget, it's predominantly free. So in terms of learning resources, there are lots of free options. In terms of cheaper than anything else options, you would also do something like look at platforms such as Udemy. Now, I myself have a Udemy course. I put it together because I really wanted people to be able to have a start and stop method of learning all aspects of web design should they decide they want to give it a shot. It's project based, but before that there's lots of helpful theory that just sort of whets your appetite on how to use graphic design, how to use typography, what is web hosting, what is domain, all of that kind of stuff. But I need to say that there are other Udemy courses out there, because that's how I learned. Although there is so much available on YouTube, and you can go out there and just find videos for this and that and the other and try and put it all together. Online course platforms such as Udemy, they are fantastic, because for $10.99 to £50 you can find fantastic courses on a sale, and they'll give you that project-based learning. Best thing is you can always sign in later on and use it just as a reminder resource. So I still do that now. There are courses that I have that I've bought years back, and I still jump back sometimes and just refresh myself on it. It's all there to use, lifetime guarantee. That's what you get with Udemy. Really great. Another great one is Skillshare as well, but that's more of a subscription base, whereas Udemy, you buy the course for maybe $10.99 and it's yours forever. That's great. So you can see that money is no barrier. That's a great reason to move into web design. Reason number 2, I would say, is because when you learn how to do something like make a website, you're not just learning how to make a website. You're actually putting your toe into this whole sea, this whole pond. No, the pond is smaller than a sea. What are we doing? You're dipping your toe into this vast ocean. There we go. Of possibilities. And learning how to make a website is simply that first step. I'll give you an example. You might find a client who wants a website that can help them with their email marketing, and that is a good idea. That should happen. At first, you might not even understand what email marketing is. You might not understand how it all kind of works, but what you know is that your job is to get a form onto a web page where a customer can put their email in, and then that will integrate into something like MailChimp, which handles mailing lists, and from which the business owner can send marketing emails out to that whole list. What you've got to learn is the what, what goes where, and then how that will integrate with the mailing system, and something like how the customer will be incentivized to give the email. It's usually something like a free ebook. You would have done that yourself. Yes, I want that ebook. I'll download it. I'll never read it, but now I've just given away my email address. As a web designer, or as the person who's put the website together, you need to find a way for the customer to give their email, for the email to travel to the mailing list, and only once that has happened, the customer to be able to download the ebook. You have to figure out the what and the how. But in doing that, you learn about the why. And that's the powerful thing, because you're starting to learn about email marketing strategies. What incentives will work? It's usually a downloadable ebook or a coupon or something like that. What mailing list systems work? MailChimp or some of the other ones. You will build experience of all of these things. Something like a blog, you would learn how to set that up on somebody's website. They want blog functionality, and they want to have it integrating with their social media. So they write a post and it goes out to their Facebook and their Instagram, for example. Great, that's fantastic. You learn how to do that, but you're learning about why blog posts and blog functionality is beneficial to a business for marketing, for content marketing, and why it's also good for SEO. So you will learn all of that sort of thing. The point is that you learn how to make websites, you learn how to put things where they're meant to go, but in doing so, you learn about marketing, you learn about strategy, you learn about SEO. In order to create a web page, you learn concepts about typography and graphic design, logo design, what you would use to actually make those logos and those graphics. In doing that, you learn about business branding, why that is beneficial, and how that helps a business maximize its earnings over a year. All of that together makes you pretty important to somebody who wants to get the most out of their business and out of the online side of their business. It makes you an online strategist if you understand the why behind what you create and make. I hope that makes sense. The point is that there might come a time when you no longer want to create websites, but you've written so many content marketing blogs for businesses that that's what you go into, content marketing and copywriting. You might go straight into something like email marketing, and that's how you market yourself. You might just go into the graphic design or put yourself on Fiverr as a logo designer because you've made 100 logos for businesses for whom you've made websites, and now you just like doing the logos. That's okay. The point is that it's an entry point. Making websites, web design is an entry point into an ocean of vast possibilities. No, I said that wrong. Damn it! A vast ocean of possibilities. Something like that. You get the idea. Reason number 3 why it's really great to go into web design is because, recap the first two, it's really cheap to get into and the possibilities are blooming endless. But also, number 3, so is the money. Let's look at this. As a side hustle, it's a pretty great one. You shouldn't be making a website for lower than £400-500. Not really. If somebody is getting a whole business website off you for that, for cheaper than that, then, and I've done it, then you need to believe in yourself more, and the worth of it is certainly more. I mean, £400-500, that's worth less than a month's business premises. That's just the flat rent. Aside from that, they'd pay insurance and things like that. But a website is where you need to exist these days on in the marketplace, and so a website is worth more than £400-500. But let's stay at that stupid noob beginner, I'm too nice to charge more figure, and let's say that you're a side hustle freelancer. If you get one of those in a week, you could, if you're well planned and you start to get really smooth at it, you could create that website especially on WordPress with Elementor, in one night. So if we take other side hustles, so people that do PTing for, that they do 4 hours at a gym on a Wednesday, they're earning about minimum wage for that. If you take people that, they develop crafts and they have an Etsy shop, all of the admin, all of the back and forth and the correspondence, and then actually making the products, and also they've got other charges with, materials and postage. They don't make all that profit, but you can use WordPress and Elementor, which are both free, and create a website for a business, a great website for a business, for £400 to £500. Let's say you do one of those a week. That's £2,000 in a month that you get on a side hustle. That's not bad, is it? No, it isn't. My God, yeah, I really should market myself more because I'm not doing that. But let's say you want the eventual security of a salary with web design. I would encourage you to just get an idea of the market and how it all works. Go and have a look at junior web design positions on something like Indeed. You will see that junior positions generally come in at sort of low 20s to mid 20s. So, $25,000 a year for a junior position where you're expected to be learning, you're not expected to be perfect, and any agency that takes on someone that's junior would undoubtedly, or should, have a development strategy in place for you, which is obviously going to prepare you for way better paid positions once you leave that agency in a few years. So there really is a lot of money in this industry because, of course, everything banks on technology and online presence these days. Is really, really important. And don't forget that within an agency, you'd be able to branch out, try new things, logo design, graphic design. I own a motorbike. I can't be mad because that's noisy. It's me sometimes, isn't it? Mind you, is he going to leave that on while he's walking around the shop? No, that's good. Anyway, blaming motorcyclists. Self-loathing right there. So in an agency, there is so much you can go into, and you've got support to learn lots of different aspects of it. So C point 2. But yeah, the money is just where it should be, really. You will earn more than teachers, more than nurses, more than anyone else who's in a managerial position in any store that you know. And don't forget that a lot of that is without lots of overheads. You can be at a computer at home for most of it, because remote working is a growing trend in web agencies and web design in general. So I would encourage you, really think about it for that. The money is great if you want to really push yourself for it. Okay, so I will quickly say that, aside from that, there's a lot of competition for web design, and within web design, there are so many different aspects to it, whether you're doing no coding web design and constructing something like WordPress websites, or whether you're actually doing coding, which is harder than what you might think and harder than the adverts say. Okay, but again, you've got nothing to lose. There are free learning resources for HTML and CSS, and then get coding with JavaScript. You need at least those, really. Anyway, but there's a lot of competition, but put some time in, see how you get on with it. I'm sure you'll be okay. If you're not okay with it, if it's really not working for you, then you haven't lost any money going in for it. So do something that's less codey. It's not for everyone. So what are some of the best ways to get into it? What are the best ways to start moving forward if you're thinking, yeah, let's give it a shot? Well, like I say, there are loads of free resources online, so start with those. But you want to at least do something that's start to finish, that you can follow step by step. I think you just need to work through a few problems guided by somebody on a video. So have 2 tabs open. One of those has a free tutorial on it, or hopefully a free tutorial. And the other one has your probably your website space. So I would say get web hosting, install WordPress. You'll be able to use it in the future anyway. So get web hosting with a domain name and install WordPress. And I would say start having a go with that, with a no coding website sort of solution such as WordPress. The reason I say that is because you can go straight to Code Academy and start doing all the coding. But I started out with coding, and it was fun, but it's a bit more drab. You might as well start creating websites, get immediate results. It's really fantastic. And the thing is that you'll be visually placing margins and padding and centering and justifying items and aligning items and justifying content and aligning items. I'm just nerding out a bit there. And you'll be doing that visually. So when it does come time to code, you'll have visual references that help you. You'll understand it, and that will help you learn to code. So I would say start with something that's no coding, like WordPress. You will learn the concepts of how websites exist online. You can start tampering with a bit of code with visual references. That helps you. And then if you want to really throw into it, you can do something like coding courses, which are either free online or, you know, do something like a Udemy coding course. That would be a great move for you. So just to say it more clearly, start off with a no coding online project. So that will be something like getting web hosting with a domain name, and then installing WordPress and using a video to do a start to end project to create a website. Immediate results, and you'll start learning really important concepts along the way. To get your web hosting, I would recommend Siteground. I only recommend Siteground, although I use other hosts, but Siteground is my favorite, and it's also the best for noobs. Its prices for the first year are really fantastic as well, especially for the support you get from them. I'm affiliated with a number of web hosts, but I only promote Siteground because it is the best financially and just for the support you get and the service and the user experience. So go for Siteground. If you don't mind, please use my link. It's in the description, or it's on my website, but it is in the description. Use my link. It costs you nothing further, but I get credited with the sale, blah, blah, blah. You know how all this works. But again, I would only recommend the one that I think is good. Before you do that, check out my channel for what is web hosting, what is domain, just so that you can have a bit more understanding. And then once you're on there, install WordPress and then find yourself a project. Okay. Again, I would also promote my Udemy course. You will get a lot out of it. And of course, I'm always on hand to help. But if not mine, then there are other Udemy courses, or you might prefer subscription-based Skillshare courses, where you pay a fixed monthly prescription and you can pretty much look at any course that's there. And so you might find that to be more of an appealing idea. But then, of course, you can jump around YouTube and find some YouTube courses that offer complete website builds. Thinking about that, I really should have made one, shouldn't I, and chucked it on my channel. I'll do that. So yeah, that's how I'd recommend you go about it, and I hope that serves you well. Don't forget that the web design community is really, really supportive. There are always Facebook groups. There's Stack Overflow if you get into the coding side, but also anything such as like Code Academy or anything. They should all have community spaces that will help you out. But yeah, everything is pretty much a Google away, and most people want to help. I also do respond to comments and questions on how to do things, and when possible, I upload a video that answers a question just so it helps people out. So don't be afraid to get in touch. But yeah, best of luck, and I hope you decide to have a crack at it, given all those benefits. Right, I've yapped on enough, and I'm off to feed Randall and Chad and Gary. I think they're looking for some food, and I need a coffee. So I'm going to leave you to it. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, please do comment, and if you have any questions, chuck those down below in the comments below, something like that. Should have rehearsed it. And of course, if you think it's worthwhile, please subscribe. Anyway, I'll leave you to it.